Long ago, before the Ashburn Railway was formed, there was a small line that ran up the Shire coast. It wasn't connected to the brand new Vosvit and Barron Light Railway, but it was rather its own subsidiary company. It serves as a mortuary railway, bringing people to their final resting places. The church and cemeteries in the mountainous valleys were always grand and modest, always being kept up to date and cleaned thoroughly. Pristine Victorian-era gardens coated the area, bringing a nice bit of color to the already dark and gloomy atmosphere. The line had one engine, a small broad-gauge locomotive from the Great Western. The engine's name was Sultan. From visible records available, the locomotive had been in an accident in its working life. There they worked, day after day, night after night, transporting people up and down the line to say goodbye to their loved ones or to be mourned and talked about by family. One day, crews went into the shed to get their Sultan ready for work, but were quite confused by what they saw. It looked like their engine, who had been perfectly fine the night before, was no more. Boiler tubes and metal were all bent out of place. No one could make sense of what happened. When investigation started to occur, the trail went cold. Surely an explosion would have been heard, or should have been heard as well, but nothing was heard from witnesses. Another fact that was considered was, if the engine had actually exploded, wouldn't the shed have been destroyed as well? Nothing in the investigation was leading anywhere. In the end, the railway was ripped up, leaving behind the churches, cemeteries, and people that had brought their final rest. On cold, misty, foggy nights, you can hear sounds of twisting metal, a long whistle, and a short but haunting scream, till it ends unceremoniously. Who knows? Maybe it is the Sultan after all, trying to find its way to rest. But it never does.